YouTube, how we doing? Pass the prop back here. Second day in a row. We're going back-to-back days coming at you yesterday with our Thursday night football action. And today we're back talking about Sunday slate. So join as always. Stu, how you doing, man?
Doing good. Can't complain. Obviously hasn't been too long. Had a nice game last night. Very entertaining, down to the wire. It was one of the better primetime games I can remember. I mean, obviously we've had a couple good ones this year with the tie earlier in the week as well. I mean, can't really complain. I enjoyed it. I thought it was a good time. Obviously had the Rams money line a little bit. That was the only bummer, I guess. I thought the Rams were going to win. I thought they were going to take care of business. It did not go as I thought at all, but still ended up going pretty good for the bet. So can't complain too much.
Yeah, no, it was a good game. I know we talked a little bit today. Kind of a weird ending to it. The overtime rules definitely change how you play the game, which I like. To see both teams getting an opportunity at the end. I did have a showdown slate. I had first one of the year that I played, and your boy had Kendrick Bourne in the captain spot, so ended up being pretty good. A little bias on the kicking field goal at the end because I had Cardi, and I had we kind of cooked everything else outside of Cardi. I think he only had like 2 or 3, so so we'll see how everything goes. Today, we get to talk about some awesome games. Let's get a quick recap in, and we split because I fucked it up again on here with the carries. What do you have? 20-something carries for like 60 yards or 58 yards, something like that?
58, I think, at the end, maybe 56. I mean, holy shit, what a sweat on this under. I mean, definitely the sweatiest bet I've had all year. Like you said, a ton of carries. His best drive, too, was a freaking 2-minute drill at the end of the first half where he had 2 8-yard runs that were just like to set up field goals. Like, it was crazy. It was so inefficient on the ground. I would have been so angry if he went over this number. So luckily we stayed under, even though the game script went, the worst possible way. Obviously, we did not expect a freaking 14-0 lead early from the team that, was a 9-point underdog at close. So shout out to Shanahan. Like I was saying on the show, I think that was super impressive, obviously, to script themselves into that game on a short week, especially with the lack of talent. Definitely one of his better performances in a while, although he did pull a classic Shanahan at the end of the game and punt it back to the Rams to beat them, which is funny because he just can't stop himself. Like, the guy in a league of like, all these fourth down, like, we're going for it on 4th and 8, fuck it. He's just the exact opposite. Like, he's staying conservative. He's trusting his defense, and it ended up working out, surprisingly.
Yeah, I mean, Kyron fumbling at the 1-yard line. I mean, the Rams had every opportunity to win.
Good point. It shouldn't have worked out, but
it should not have been there.
It
did. Sometimes you get lucky, man, and I don't know, dude. I felt bad because it's the same thing with the Packers last week, where just the special teams fuck you over, dude. Like, how are you getting it? What's that? The 4th block kick against them this year, and one of them was low. One of them was like Cardi actually kicked it low. The other ones, they're just getting cooked, and these guys are going right through the middle. I don't know if you saw the blocked field or blocked extra point there or whatever it was that would have had it 21-20. You take the lead. The guy just didn't block anybody. He just let him go right through the middle. Obviously, that fucks up everything there. So, crazy, man. Crazy. I like how Professor T bringing up Tutu. I immediately said that to you. I took his longest catch just out of pure knowing Stu would want to have me bet that, and it was 8.5. Oh fuck, dude, that was hilarious.
Well, he gets the bomb early, and then he gets the huge one later. I mean, 2 of the biggest catches in the game. What's interesting is, obviously, they used still a ton of guys. Not Whittingham. Whittington got it right this time, although Al Michaels is with me. Shout out to him. That cracked me up. I appreciate the people that tagged me about that as well, because I'm like, I knew that wasn't just me that was doing it. I must have heard it from somewhere, but that cracked me up. But they split both of those guys. Both of them were good. Both of them were used a ton. Like, they rotate a bunch. It's just Matthew Stafford, when he's cooking, is probably the most fun guy to watch in the league. I mean, he's just awesome. You know what I mean? So keep doing that. Keep cooking, let him throw 100 times. I'd watch it 100 different times.
Yeah, he's the only guy, dude, I'm really worried about to beat Dak this season, because that whole second half, I end up live betting after the first quarter, just the passing yards, because it was down to like 228. I don't think they ran the ball more than twice in the second half, and then you run it on the last play of the game. Like, how do you not give it to Stafford in that situation? He literally did everything for you, or come up with something more creative than a run up the middle. Like, they've done that was their only run that they were doing. Like, come up with something a little bit more, a little more creative.
And the crazy thing too is, and shout out, we were talking about this in Discord a little bit, the Prime Vision is very fun. If you have Amazon Prime, which I assume 99% of people do, that alternate stream is, if you're live betting especially, I mean, it literally highlights all the personnel and everyone that's out there, so you can actually see who's on the field. And it gives you this zoomed out view it's so good for live betting. It's like the ideal thing. And on that last play, if you know the Rams, they don't run, they run a ton of 11 personnel. They don't run 2 tight end sets almost at all, right? And one of the big things with McVay wide receivers is you need to be able to block, you know what I mean, to actually be able to make an impact out there. So on the last freaking play of the game, on a 1-yard run, instead of being in a 12 personnel, a jumbo set like every freaking team in the league, they've got on the side that they're actually running the ball in, they've got Whittington and Puka blocking a defensive lineman and a linebacker. That's a terrible play call. I mean, I get those guys are good blockers for wide receivers, but the 49ers take a timeout, they look at the formation, they address it, and then they still run the same play. I just didn't get that. It's like, and it was really smart, I will say, from Shanahan, knowing that they weren't going to QB sneak it, because he failed last week. They tried and failed. So they had no one there really protecting the middle, and they were just fully focused on the running back. So sharp for the 49ers to pick up on that and just fully focus in. But I have no clue why the Rams did that, especially after the 49ers were able to diagnose the formation and kind of see the play call. It was just a weird play, especially as I had Kyron 50 rush yards. I was sweating all game. They barely gave him the ball. Every obvious run play was a throw. And so in the most important game play of the game, you're not going to throw it to like Puka or Devon. It was a weird one to me. That was the biggest disagreement I had all game, no doubt.
Yes, sir. Yeah, it's going to be interesting when they all come back. There, it should be fun. I mean, I'm excited to see that team. I don't think it's going to be for a while, but hopefully they take an L next week. They're playing at Tampa, so hopefully they take that L next week. I know my Seahawks are getting Tampa this week at home, so that'll be a fun game to talk about as well. But let's get into today, Stu. We got a lot of games to talk about here. Let's just start out with big screen game. We have 10 games from the noon to 3 o'clock. 12, I believe, on the full day with the London game. But where do you want to kind of set up shop and watch a game here?
Yeah, I mean, interestingly enough, like we have our best totals of the week in terms of like points scored, but in terms of actual matchups themselves, not really the best, honestly. None of the super high end, I feel like, ones we're kind of used to. For me, I think Seahawks Bucks is going to be the one I'm super tapped into. I don't know if I'm still in your thunder there a little bit, but obviously both of us, rooting for the Seahawks this year, have money on it. And then the Buccaneers, very beat up, very injured team right now, but they're scrappy. They fight. They stay in games. I know they're down Bucky. I know it's an ugly injury game, but I think it's going to be a good prop betting game. So for me, that one I think I'll probably have on full screen, especially if my Commanders are getting their asses beat in that late slate.
Yeah. The Chargers get to face off against Washington. I saw Washington, I believe, is only a 2-point dog in that game.
No, it's like 3.5.
There was 2.5. 2.5 now.
On what book?
DraftKings. I only use DraftKings line, so I mean the biggest point there is. Yeah, so I was gonna say, I'm like, I haven't seen a 3.5 at all. I've been on DraftKings.
3 on MGM right now, but I like 2.5. That's interesting. Sorry, I didn't mean to.
Yeah, plus 100 on that side. I mean, can I really just pick any other game outside of the Cowboys games, bro? I don't know, man. If you're asking for entertaining football, bro, what else do you want? What else do you want? You got 2 fucking shit defenses. I know the Jets used to have a good defense. They don't anymore. They have a 48 total, 2-point spread. I mean, it doesn't mean much with the Cowboys were like a 1-point favorite against the Bears and lose by 30. So, like, I don't want to. You can't really touch a spread in those games, unfortunately. It's pretty much just better off just taking a money line. But that's definitely a game I want to look at, man. I'm sure I'm going to have a ton of props in that game. Obviously, one of my plays on the show is going to be in that game. But super exciting game for me. A lot of props there. Dak's getting my money this week. Dak's on my fantasy team. He's getting to start over Jaden Daniels this week. Obviously, I have Ferguson as well. So it's been paying off. Unfortunately, losing neighbors for your boy has been kind of crushing. But let's move on, Stu, to Dog of the Week. We are 5-3 on the year for our Dog of the Week picks. Where are you looking on this slate? We got some bigger ones. We got some, we got a lot of them sitting in that 2.5, 3.5 range. Where will you be looking for Dog of the Week finding a spread?
Yeah, this one's tricky.
There's a lot of very sharp lines. I feel like I don't know where I want to go with them. But
yeah, it's like, are the Carolina Panthers enough of a dog? Like, does that count? Like, they're even money. You know what I mean? Like, it's not really a.
I mean, you have to. Yeah, I mean, I can't. I don't even know if I could take that. You don't miss the same money line, but it's only plus. It's plus 100.
Yeah, it's like that would probably be my favorite. I'll say.
You just want Panthers money line? I can give you that. It's
yeah, that's what we'll do. We'll do that. I'm sorry to be a little lamer here, but honestly, I'm just not as big of a fan as some of these dogs this week. So yeah, I don't like. Tennessee is just. I'm not gonna do it. You know what I mean? That's the one that kind of sticks out. Just like Arizona, really 8.5, but. Man, every person I know, it feels like they've never won a bet on Tennessee spread in this recent, Callahan era. And I don't really want to feel that pain. I feel like I've avoided it so far. So I think I'm just going to have to be a little bit lame here and just go with the.
Yeah, I don't like a lot of them either. I don't like many dogs. I think Broncos will probably be my only one that I actually, maybe have an opportunity to tease here. Just because, coming off of a good performance on Monday night. I don't think either team scores the ball very well in this game. This is going to be a fun, defensive battle. And if it's going to be a defensive battle like that, I'd rather have the points, right? I think it's 43.5. I like the under in that game. I don't mind taking Broncos in the under in the same spot, something like that. I just think this will be tough, man. It's going to be really, really tough to watch this game. I think it's just going to be a shit show on offensive side for both teams. I really like the Eagles' defense. Obviously, they're going to pretty much be able to do whatever they want, in my opinion, against these guys. But I'm excited for Surtain against A.J. Brown. See if A.J. Brown gets those hands throwing. You might try to punch him, man. I think he might start throwing hands here soon if he doesn't get more than 3 targets in the goddamn game. So, I'm very curious to see how this Eagles offense looks after. I mean, you're undefeated and still probably the most scrutinized team out of anyone I've ever seen for an undefeated team this late in the season. But yeah, that offense has been pretty shitty outside of the Rams game. They had some good numbers there, but you're starting to see some people start talking here, and I'm curious what they're going to do. Is this a tough matchup, tough defense, and maybe we see the ball get aired out a little bit more on the Eagles side, but definitely want to be rolling with the points in a game like this where the defenses are going to be standout.
Yeah, I agree. I lean the Broncos. I just kind of think the Eagles have to get right eventually. And I'm like,
yes.
Is Saquon not just going to have 150 yards one of these games? Because when you look at it.
I thought it would have happened already.
Agreed. And I mean, I don't know. It's just the interesting thing, though, is like the Broncos been really good at stopping running quarterbacks so far this year. Like they haven't allowed a guy to go over 10 yards, including against like Herbert and Daniel Jones, who are both obviously good mobile guys. So that's the only thing that looks good in the offense is like essentially Hurts scrambling right now. He looks better than last year, looks a little quicker. Like, I don't know. Like if you take that away and the run game can't get going, like there's some definite concerns there. I just have the same concerns on the other side. And that's kind of what I think of first of like, you got one good wide receiver, Sutton. He's going to be covered by Mitchell. So you kind of take away the best target right there. Troy Franklin has like a 50% catch rate since entering.
Yeah, I saw his drops are just crazy.
I mean, the guy has the chemistry. He gets the targets. He just can't catch the fucking football. So what do you do if you take away and Bo Nix has looked awful. I mean, I've watched way too much Broncos football this year, unfortunately. Bo Nix does not look good or comfortable out there whatsoever. Eagles defense, hasn't quite looked the same, but the run defense has been kind of the standard there. It hasn't been up to par this year, but you still got two beasts down low. And at the end of the day, I don't know. If the Broncos can't get their run game going, I'm a little scared. And, both these teams are kind of the same in that aspect.
Yeah, that's what I mean. But if you're going to give me that, give me the fucking points.
Agreed.
Right? Give me the fucking points, because I think both teams are going to have trouble and even if they do get to the red zone, I think it's a tough spot for both. With the field condensed like that, I don't think either team's going to have a very fun time punching in the end zone. So yeah, I think we got good spots here. I'm excited for these for our dogs. Hopefully, we continue to be 5-3 on dog picks. Pretty fucking good, especially when a couple of them, quite a bit. I think 3 of them are money line ones too. So sure, we got you guys paid out pretty well there. So yes, we head into this week. So I will kick it over to you to take it away. I see someone already talking about Dylan Gabriel in the chat, so I might as well kick it to you for that.
Sounds good. Yeah, we're starting out a little bit creative right here. We got Dylan Gabriel under 31.5 longest completion, -120 DraftKings, MGM. I'd play it down to 30.5 as well. I see FanDuel has 29. That scares me a little bit more once you get in the 20s, but we'll see where that line goes over the course of the weekend, because obviously one broken play can kind of put you over, and I think that's what scares people for these kind of plays. Luckily for me, I'm not scared, okay? I like these ugly-ass plays. I like these quarterbacks that don't throw the ball down the field very well. The other day, I played Tua under 34.5 longest completion, and I get how scary that can be, right? When you got a guy like Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, even a chain, right? Any one of those guys can break a big play, and that can put you over a number. And that's what makes betting on these kind of props scary, right? What I like, one, about the Browns, before you even go into the matchup or anything else, they don't have any of those same guys that you're scared of for breaking a huge play. Almost every single team, even more minor guys on the team, like the Trey Tuckers of the world, the deep threats, have guys that you're kind of worried can create one-on-one and just go over this by themselves. The Browns don't really have that. I mean, you got Jerry Jeudy on the outside. He's been pretty awful so far this year. I drafted him. I would know. You got Cedric Tillman going on IR, not going to be playing anymore. I would say the most interesting weapon is probably Isaiah Bond, a rookie. If you're a college football fan, this guy was pretty highly touted for a while, but obviously fell in the draft into an undrafted guy, had some off-the-field stuff with legal cases and stuff like that. And he came in and pretty much has immediately kind of taken over that wide receiver 3-4 kind of role from Thrash, who was the guy before. So he'll be more involved. But beyond that, I think the two leading wide receivers in this game might be the tight ends. I think Fannin and I think Njoku are just going to get used a ton. Because if you haven't watched this team, Fannin is going to be the slot guy. They'll use him in more creative ways, essentially a big wide receiver. And then Njoku will be in line and blocking a little bit more. So that lets them get into these bigger formations. And if you haven't been watching, Judkins looks fucking good. He looks really good. I was kind of 50-50 on the Ohio State backfield coming out. They kind of grew on me. Ended up surprisingly liking Judkins more than Henderson as the process went. And man, he came out, he looks like budget Derrick Henry so far, where he's just going to keep going. And then once you get worn down a little bit, he'll take one for 15, he'll take one for 20. It's hard to get the guy down behind the line of scrimmage. You got a rookie quarterback. You see what this Vikings team just did to Jake Browning on his first start. I assume they're going to hang on to dear life for Judkins. Every carry possible, just get this guy the ball. And they were even doing that with Flacco in trailing game scripts. Last week, I had Flacco 200 passing yards, and it was the worst fucking sweat ever because he's at 160 at halftime and can't throw for 40 yards in the second half because run the ball. There's no time. There's no protection. Their offensive line isn't setting them up for success. And when you do that, you can't move the ball. And we saw it with Flacco. I don't think Gabriel's going to be able to change it. What I do think Gabriel does is I think they're going to do a more Jackson Dart college-style offense, which we just saw the Chargers the Giants do last week as well, where up tempo, get to the line of scrimmage, 7-yard pass over the middle, quick, just quick hitters, more pace, more tempo, because you don't have great talent, you don't have a great offensive line, so you kind of want to speed up the defense, you kind of want to keep things moving. Those kind of plays are not conducive to 40-yard bombs. Those are conducive to 7-yard checkdowns. And I think that's what you're going to see in this game. Gabriel also has some size concerns. His arm strength was kind of debated. A couple contrarian kind of people say he has a good arm, but the vast consensus is saying, like, not really an NFL caliber arm. When you see him making deep throws, it's normally he has all the time in the world and he's putting his whole body into it. I just don't think you're going to get that. I think you're going to get short passing. I think you're going to get a lot of running. And obviously, I talk about the Vikings every week. I'm literally sick of it. I need to make a copy and paste and just be able to put that in my articles because I literally bet against them every week because their defense is fairly predictable. They play 2 high safeties. They want to eliminate those explosive plays. They've allowed 1 quarterback to go over this number so far this year. And those are good quarterbacks, by the way, not Dylan Gabriel. They've allowed 1 quarterback. It was Aaron Rodgers. And it was that 80-yard DK Metcalf play that he just took over the middle and went. Who the fuck is doing that on this team? You know what I mean? That was a broken play. It's a thing that DK Metcalf can do and not many other guys can. It just seems like a great spot for them to continue limiting explosive plays. And yeah, I just love the Gabriel under, and a guy that I didn't really believe in as like a downfield passer anyway. So a lot of positives here. Good matchup not for Gabriel, but for the defense. And yeah, just I think he goes under this one. I don't think we see much downfield passing.
Yeah, no, I actually really like this play. I'm happy that you brought that up already because, yeah, I watch enough Dylan Gabriel games to kind of assume. And the biggest thing for me in this bet as well is I just assume this is going to be a fuck ton of shotgun, dude. I think you're going to be in shotgun a ton just for the fact that I don't think he can throw a ball on a 3-step drop and not have it get hit down. The dude's small, bro. He's like 5'10", 5'11", so like I'm very curious to see what the Vikings do with Judkins here because I think it's just fucking send that goddamn house on this guy. You know, load up the box. I just don't think if you're loading up the box like that, you're not even going to have enough time to put more than 10 to 12 air yards on any one of these throws. So very, very concerned for his well-being here. Is this under longest completion? I would assume that he's talking about there. Plus 242, not a bad look. I like, you know, think that the options, even without Tyreek in Miami, you know, have a little bit more of an opportunity to get something done with a H-hand screen, or I know your rapper boy might break one cat tackle and he's fucking getting 30 yards. You don't know, man. I just keep seeing his video with John Gruden going everywhere. It's everywhere. It's on. Like I'm on Twitter, and then I switch over to like Facebook. I'm like, how is this on Facebook? How is this finding me? And it kept finding me, and I'm like, oh man, John Gruden everywhere, man. He's popping up. So.
Yeah, the Grudens are funny guys. It's a funny video. How fired up he is, it's good. And shout out to Waller, too. He's been proving people wrong. He deserves all the credit. I don't know if I'm going to be able to bet him this week. His lines are pretty high. But
yeah, they are. Yeah, they are very high. And another guy with very high lines, and that's going to be my boy JSN. I'm going back to him. I'm going to be playing JSN here at 7 catches. I'm just going to play it straight. I'm not going to mess around playing around with the other stuff here. I think this is a very fair line. I think we're getting, you know, before you're getting this at like minus 130, minus 140s when he was kind of crushing this line. I think everybody saw last week on a short week him kind of, I don't want to say disappointing because he did cash for us, but I mean, he only had 4 catches, right? And he was kind of on this little roll there where he was, you know, catching everything, right? I mean, I think he had the first 3 games of the year. He was Nakua levels, right? I mean, it was 13, 10, 6 targets, 90, 100, 124, right? I mean, he was going crazy. I mean, no one's on Puka's level right now. I mean, he keeps showing he's the number one right now in football. But we were talking about it on the show last week on Wednesday. You take Puka out, JSN's at the top of every single one of these leaderboards, man. It's Puka JSN in terms of targets and target percentage for these guys. The air yards were way up. Obviously, this after last week, he's fallen down a decent cliff there, but you look at his numbers, he's got 34 targets. You look at all these other teams that have all these guys with more targets, they're losing a lot of these games, right? Darnold still doesn't throw that much. It's just when you had a 39% target share before last week, still had a close to a 25% target share. They just didn't throw that much. And Arizona did a good job on them. I think that this is a game where Tampa obviously has Vita Vea in the middle. They're an elite run defense in terms of that, right? Running in between the tackles. So expecting to see a little bit more of the ball aired out here. JSN still obviously towards the top of the leaderboards in terms of all the target, air yards, percentage of teams, air yards, all those numbers that you want to go down there. I just think these are going to have to be quick passes, right? You look at a lot of these other number one receivers. 10 catches for Garrett Wilson, had to get the ball out quick for Tyrod, right? You look at Drake London, he had 15 targets in that game. So you just take two number one receivers and you look at those, 30 targets for two guys, right, in those games. I think that could be the type of game we see here for JSN. I mean, you want to look at a couple of these other games. Tampa's had a few weird games because Tampa had the Eagles game last week where you can't really look at any of those because they just don't fucking pass. So their numbers aren't terrible on the year, but when you actually see a number one receiver going out there, two of those top guys, 10 and 8 catches respectively, and 30 total targets, I think they force feed them. I mean, I know last week it wasn't the best game. Shout out to him for even finding a way to cash our tickets. I don't know how he did it, but he did. I think this is more of a reception yards after the catch type game versus those 20, 30 yarders down the field. I think it's just get the ball in your playmakers' hands. I think it's going to be more of an extension of the run game here because I just don't see them running the ball very well in this spot. So sign me up for JSN. I think we see a little bit more of those underneath routes and let him do his thing.
Yeah, and I mean, when you look at the Buccaneers, man, I mean, they're injured. Like, they are injured. Like, that secondary, Levante David is questionable. You got Jamal Dean at corner out already. You got Benjamin Morrison, backup corner, out. Winfield at safety is going to be there. McCollum at corner. But overall, a very beat-up defense. They already lost Can't See their rusher as well, which is going to hurt your pass rush and give you more opportunities to pass in the pocket. I guess my only concern would be I was looking at yards over receptions, I think, just because his downfield usage has been awesome. Like, I think their when in doubt is just fuck it, JSN's down there, which is kind of funny because you wouldn't have expected that coming into the year, but they do seemingly have that relationship. But like you said, I mean, just like legitimately elite numbers so far this year, like fully elite numbers. He just doesn't quite have that like name value for the prices to fully be there yet. So I would probably have all of his props a little bit higher than they are right now. Because you can't really run on the Bucs. Vita Vea has been awesome so far this year. They've crushed every rushing attack so far. And guess what? This team loves play action. I think you're just going to see a ton of play action, a ton of JSN. And yeah, it should be a pretty good day for Darnold as well.
Yeah, now that Aaron Donald's gone, man, I don't think there's a guy who impacts a run game like Vita Vea. Like that dude, if he sits, bro, I'm fucking playing running backs against these guys. It's like that quick, but when he's in there, it's crazy. Bro. It's automatic double, and if you don't, he's fucking you up. So yeah, just definitely a tough spot for the two guys that I like. Obviously, I have a lot of both of Charbonnet and Kenneth Walker in best ball. So hopefully, might have to get it done through the air there a little bit more than we're used to. So I got 25 of you guys in here, half an hour in. We appreciate you guys. If you could hit that like button, let's take a look at the chat. Professor T coming in here. Any thoughts on Houston's putrid O-line versus Ravens defense with only 4 sacks? Possibly giving up some long plays. Do you think that Stroud goes over his longest completion? I'll let you take this too. I feel like I might as well just take Nico Collins. I feel like that's really the only guy that I trust to be able to do that. Probably get a 10-yard discount on his longest reception. I don't know if you're in the same boat there, wanting to trust one of these other, mid-tier rookie receivers, like Xavier Hutchinson and all these guys, Higgins. Any thoughts on that? Like our guy Professor T has first question.
Yeah, it's a good question because it's a tricky question because you identified like the right ingredients here, but I don't know the answer to that question because Stroud deep passing is just not something I'm really that interested in betting in general. But you are right. It's mostly because their offensive line sucks and they want to run the ball a ton. The Ravens defense normally would be more situated to handle this, but no pass rush, no run defense, no Roquan. there's some pretty serious concerns. My problem is just the same problem I always have with the Texans, which some offensive minds may look at these weaknesses and go, yes, we can pass the ball downfield more. I think the Texans are going to go, yes, we can run the ball 35 times this week. I think that's more how they're going to look at it than anything else. So in reality, I'd just rather go the rushing side probably. But like you said, a lot of the times the thing that keeps me away from longest completion is just trying to narrow it down to a wide receiver, because there's so many catches in that like 22 to 35 yard range that just never get really captured in that longest completion market. And I think you're right. Nico Collins is just the guy. Like, he's just the guy. That's who I'd bet. If it was anyone, it'd be one-on-one. That's who they're going to look to. Higgins doesn't play enough. He would be the other deep guy. And then, yeah, Kirk is good, but, no strong take. So I would just either go Nico Collins longest, or I'd probably just go to the rushing props in that game.
Yeah, a quick question, too, from me, just as a guy who got Woody Marks picked up. What's your thoughts on him going into this week? Obviously, one of the more picked up guys. I feel like him, Rachaad White, obviously with Bucky being out. You like either one of those guys? Emery DeMarcado on that list. I feel like he's a little bit more down the list of those three, personally. Any thoughts on either one of those guys in their spots? We kind of just mentioned the Seattle game. And obviously the Texans are a 2-point favorite, obviously leaning towards Lamar Jackson sitting in that home matchup. Thoughts on either one of those guys? Obviously, Woody Marks getting a lot of talk this week.
Yeah, I saw Woody essentially just flipped Chubb in the prop market. Woody Marks is at 50 rushing yards now, and I believe Chubb is at like 29, something like that.
I am on DK right now. I'll give you the official numbers. Is Chubb 33.5? Yeah. 57.5 for Marks.
So wow. It's interesting. Yeah, to see a total switch like that is very hard for me to get behind, but it's for good reason. I think I mentioned to you before, I really like that quote of them just kind of saying like, okay, now it's just time to see how much Marks can handle. Like, he's been good at like everything he's done so far. Let's just see how much of this we can put on his plate and him be successful with, because that's really what you want. So I like Woody this week, honestly. I think he probably sees 2 to 3 targets. I think he probably sees, 13, 14 carries. And the Ravens defense is just obliterated right now. And then not only is their defense obliterated, but now their offense is Cooper Rush at quarterback, which means, like, who knows what's going to happen against the Texans defense? How are you going to be able to sustain drives? So if you can't sustain drives, that means the Texans are going to have the ball in their hands more. What do the Texans like to do when they have the ball in their hands? Like to run the ball. So the betting market seems to think Woody's fully taken over. I don't know if it'll maybe be that aggressive, but I think he does lead the backfield pretty much from this point on.
Awesome. Well, I might have a choice on my hands. I'm thinking between Rachaad White and Woody Marks. I got both of them picked up quick this week. I grabbed those right away. I'm even thinking about Kenneth Walker. Might have to. He's been good, but it kind of scares me in that matchup going on those. But that is for a different day. Jay Bro bringing up Rachaad White over 3.5 catches. I know Bucky has 4 in every game so far as RB1. I don't mind it. I feel like Bucky's, usage is going to be obviously a lot higher than what Rachaad White is. I feel like Tucker, I know we've talked about Tucker a little bit. As a Syracuse backer, I would always take Sean Tucker's numbers there. I'm curious if it maybe moves to like 60-40 White and Tucker. Obviously, Rachaad White will be in on all of those receiving plays, in my opinion. I feel like that's what his best attribute is. So I definitely would feel like taking the receptions. Receiving yards would be what I would do over anything else, just because obviously Seattle's got a good front seven as well. We saw that last week, them shutting down Arizona's run game. But any thoughts here? What do you think?
Yeah, so I mean, if you watch my stuff for a while, I love backup running backs. I love situations like this. This is like my go-to, but I like that stuff so much because you get a discount. You're not getting a discount here. The whole world, the fun part about the value of these props is like, can you correctly identify which roles different guys pick up? And like you just said, I think the whole world is kind of identified, okay, Rachaad White is a good pass blocker. He's out there on those third down snaps, those clear passing snaps, even when Bucky does play. So he's obviously most likely going to keep that role when you do see this change and see more Tucker on like early downs. So I think we all kind of correctly viewed White in the right way, and that just means there's no value at 3.5 because that's a Bucky line. I don't want to pay a Bucky line for Bucky's backup. You know what I mean? I think Rachaad White's good. PFF grades are super high this year, all that, but I mean, it's not a discount. And the reason I like these props is for discount. So that's probably not going to be a bet for me, even though at the beginning of the week I was looking for Rachaad White receiving.
And lastly, I feel like everybody will look at when Rachaad White was playing as the starter, right? You can't use those numbers because Tom Brady was a fucking check down merchant, bro. You guys remember how many times I bet on Tom Brady fucking completions? The dude threw the ball 4 yards. Chris Godwin and Rachaad White were fucking beasts. They were awesome because of that. But I will say it's huge difference with Baker in there. Baker has the ability to obviously run. Tom Brady did not, right? And it's very different. Don't just think that that's going to transfer over because it is night and day switching Tom Brady to Baker. So just thought I'd put that out there before everybody's just going out there just fucking hammering it.
That's a good point.
Because, Rachaad White gets 7 fucking catches in a game on 4 of them being on a 1-2 minute drive because Tom Brady just send everybody else on the field, check it down. And guess what? I love those. I bet 25 and a half fucking completions every week until I was blue in the face. And he would still hit when they were winning, which is the best part. It didn't matter. He just was checking down everything. So, all right. Good old days there. So, it makes me feel weird because it's like this 4th year doing this shit. It's like, oh yeah, you go back to the first year I was hammering that shit. Obviously now he's a fucking broadcaster. So
I know.
Let's talk a rookie here. Sue's going to be bringing in a rookie here, talking about. I have to get your line here for it, but looking like we're going to the Arizona State product. I'll kick it over to you, Sue.
Yeah, best in market is -110 on MGM. You get some like -120 on FanDuel as well. I played up to 17.5. Honestly, 18.5. I thought that's kind of where it would open. Last week, I mean, we saw 25 carries, 22. I forget what he ended up with exactly, but a huge workload in his debut. I had that game not as my big screen game, but the first drive at least, because it was sick. Obviously, he delivered there. After that, it got very ugly and it got demoted from the full screen game. But I was watching this one very closely because I essentially wanted to see if I was right that they would pick up a more up-tempo offense, a more college-style offense to kind of complement him. I think they did exactly that. The concern with their offense now, and it was the concern last week as well, is one, I mean, are you really going to be able to effectively like throw the ball that consistently? And then now, guess what? You don't have Malik Neighbors. So
the only guy that anybody's worried about on this pass game.
I mean, guys, Wan'Dale Robinson as your 1, Darius Slayton as your 1. That's really bad. And honestly, when we were talking about dog of the week at the beginning, I was tempted to say the Giants because I do believe still at the end of the day, the best unit in this game is the Giants defensive line. Like if there is one elite unit. And the reason I feel more confident about that is because I kind of talked about them not living up to their potential last week with the Herbert stuff. Well, they did. They forced 2 turnovers. Herbert was in pressure all day long. They obviously lost Alt early, which was a big part of that. But the Saints do not have a very good offensive line, and Spencer Rattler is not very good under pressure. So it's going to be one of those games where I think Scadaboo is going into the half like 11 for 22 with 1 yard per carry or whatever. I think he's still going to come back out in the second half. If this game's 3-10 or 3-6 or whatever ugly score you want to make up in your head, guess what? I think we're seeing 10 more Scadaboo carries in the second half because last week it wasn't the most efficient, but one thing he does super well is he doesn't create negative plays. So even if he's not actually having a very meaningful carry or he's not getting a first down, he has a 71% positive run rate this year, which means even with that shit offensive line, even with getting hit behind the line of scrimmage, he's actually still gaining positive yards on most of these plays, which is just kind of the baseline you need for the Giants and kind of how I see the Giants playing this because we saw 10 Jackson Dart runs last week. What did that result in? Getting injured in his first fucking start. Guy already took a hit and went out. We saw Russ back. I'm sure Dable got flashbacks. He doesn't want to see Russ in that much. I know Dart needs to run for this offense to be successful, but can he run 8 or 10 times a game? I don't think so. I think we're going to see that cut back a little bit probably if they want him to survive out there. And I think the one thing they just showed us is they're going to give this guy the ball. He's tough. He wants a heavy workload. He handled 20-plus carries a game in college. He came into the NFL level ready to handle 20-plus carries a game. They lost Tracy. I think that's what we're going to see again here. So it's one of those things where they don't really have a choice. And what I like the most about it, too, is like this is one of the few games where they're actually going to be able to get to run a more neutral offense. Both of these two teams are used to running a high-paced, trailing, we need to catch up, completion offense. Well, for the first time all year, both of these two teams are actually expected to be in a close game. And if we're going to get a close game, I think that means we're going to get more rushing attempts. The final thing I'll say, the Saints have the most broken or missed tackles so far this year. They lead the league in missed tackles. Scottaboo ranks 6th or 5th via fantasy points and missed tackles forced per attempt so far this year. We know the tackle breaking abilities there. I just like attempts more because, one, if he breaks a 15, 20-yarder, that's good for, a 30-yard or whatever. That's good for us. Like, even him going over the yard just means we're going to get a more consistent game script. There's going to be more trust in the run. And I see the positives, but I also see the game where they lose this game by 2 field goals or whatever in the ugliest game in the world, right? And Scottaboo puts up that 22 for, 49 or 57, like just tons of ugly runs. So yeah, I just really couldn't get this one out of my head this week. And yeah, he said, I would play 17.5 plus money. I'd even play 17.5, like minus 120 or whatever as well. And I think 18.5 would be like a half unit because every carry does matter. But I would have set this line at 18.5. So getting it a couple under. I know it's scary with such a young running back that most people aren't familiar with, but I love the college preparedness. And what other choice do you have? Wandale and Darius Slayton. It's going to be a long day if they pass the ball more than 15 times. So I think as much Scottaboo as possible is what we're going to see.
Love it. I definitely do not mind that at all. I watched part of the game last week, obviously with Neighbors being in there, and I had McConkey doing nothing. So the amount of times that he would run the ball 3 times in a row was absurd.
Yeah.
And it was like 4, -1, 3 punt. What the fuck? What is your offense here? So, damn, dude, it is crazy. It is absolutely crazy. I will take mine here, and we got some questions. So I'm going to be going to Breece Hall this week. I'm going to Breece Hall, 96.5. I know Fanatics has it at 90. I don't know anyone who uses Fanatics. If you do, go grab that. That's a phenomenal line. I'm not going to use that here. I think 95, 96 is where I'm seeing most of them at right now. So I'm going to a guy here who's, obviously was the number 1, but should be getting quite a bit of opportunity extra here without Braylon Allen. Obviously, he's a Badger, so I hate to see him go down. But this is Breece Hall's backfield now, and we were seeing him at like 13, 14 carries. Books are listing him at 16.5, juice to the over here. And one other thing, the reason why I had to take receiving is obviously we've seen the Cowboys shredded by running backs in the receiving game. And I think it's going to be more of the same here. I think both opportunities to hit both of their regular lines are the same. I think that he's got great spots for both. So I'm going to take, the rushing receiving upside here. We saw Jacobs lead the team in receiving last week. We saw DeAndre Swift, 45 yards through the air as well. The nice part is we've seen Breece Hall get a ton of checkdowns lately. Last 2 games, he's got 12 targets, which is phenomenal. And honestly, I like seeing Fields with those high rushing totals that he's had. I think that kind of takes the eyes from, probably Sanborn, right? Another Badger that I obviously know pretty well. Jack Sanborn is their best linebacker, bro. That dude is fucking awesome right now, making a ton of tackles for these guys. When you come in here, are you trying to run an RPO here? You could run an RPO easy. I think we start to see him now that he's getting, Fields last week we talked about he would not get as many design runs. You saw him last week. He looked pretty damn healthy to me. He was making some guys miss in the open field. I think we might see a couple more design runs there just to take a little bit off the plate of Breece Hall. I think this is the Breece Hall show. I think this is Justin Fields' show. I think they're going to be able to run over these guys whenever you want. And I like what you talked about with Fields not being able to really, read a defense outside of Garrett Wilson's not open. Fuck it. What am I going to do? Yeah. Well, Breece Hall runs a 4-yard route, turns around, and gets 8 yards. That's literally their second option on everything. It's like, all right, they have a double on him. Oh, Mason Taylor's covered. Oh, shit. Here we go. And that's literally the offense in the passing game. And I think this is going to be, one of those games where we could see a couple of those, 9-10 yard or 9-10 minute drives where it's just all Brees Hall, all Fields, just, trying to suck the clock and make sure that Dak doesn't get the ball. Because I think Dak's going to pretty much be able to do anything he wants on the other side there. I know you talked about, what's his name? Isaiah Davis. As kind of the merchant there, which is a reason why I didn't want to take receiving specifically, because I obviously, the 2-minute drill is something that obviously very important, and he might get those in those third down spots. But give me 17 carries, on the Brees Hall side. He looks so much more explosive here. Maybe towards the end of the year kind of falls off, and we saw that last year where the end of the year his numbers kind of fell through the ground, but beginning of the year, Brees Hall last year was fucking great, dude. They were giving him the ball 20-something times, looked awesome. And I think this is an opportunity where if you give me 20 touches for Brees Hall, even if that's 5 times through the air and we get 5 catches, I think he's making 4 or 5 yards of play here at least and making guys miss. So we've seen the Dallas Cowboys miss a ton of tackles in the open field. Obviously, I saw a ton last week with Josh Jacobs pretty much doing whatever he wanted there. Saw DeAndre Swift on a fucking screen just run across the entire field and no one touched him. So it's like, I don't think anything's going to get fixed that much there. We just saw him get another 40 points. I think that's 2 times already this year with 40 points allowed, and I think the Bears had 38. So this is a get-right game for the Jets, obviously coming off of a loss in division to Miami. So I think you get the ball to your best players. I think Garrett Wilson is pretty much able to do whatever he wants there. But I think this is a fun game to watch, 48-point total. And I think Brees gets the job done here.
Yeah, I like it. I mean, it's an interesting style clash because essentially the Cowboys are like the biggest pass funnel in football, and the Jets are the most run-heavy team in football, and like not even close. Like they want to run the ball whenever possible. So like the first half is just probably going to be like all Brees Hall on the ground. You have no competition really anymore. Davis will be passing down competition, but not rushing down competition. And then, like we said, it's just like the passing attack's ugly. And if this is going to be a lot of dropbacks, Brees Hall's wide receiver too, essentially. I mean, like he's almost the quicker read than Taylor is like the second option. You know what I mean? Over the middle. Because if Garrett isn't open, then yeah, it's just going to be check down. So last week was kind of crazy to watch. Like, I don't know how a coaching staff watches that and like makes a game plan going forward. That's why I was so harsh earlier in the week. Cause like, I like the Jets coming to the year. I like their run heavy strategy. I think it's smart, but like the passing is really bad. And I see people on fields passing this week because it's such a pass funnel and the defense is so bad. And I can't get there. You know what I mean? Like, I think if they're going to be trailing and they're forced to pass, it's still just going to be Fields on the ground, Hall on the ground, Hall check down, And I think there's just not much more this offense has to offer. So, yeah, I like the spot. I think it's just going to be a heavy dose of Brees Hall. Davis is good. I'll probably bet him this week if it becomes available for receiving, but that's not enough to take away from Brees Hall.
Yeah, dude, the only thing it's just tough to bet anything Fields, right, for the passing games, because like if it's not there right away, it's a run, right? So it's like it takes away all of the opportunity there. But like these dump offs, I think 16.5 is his completion line. I'm like, that should be way higher. And then I realized, probably the third read is run every time. So it's like I might look into like rush attempts. Maybe we start to see that kind of tick up a little bit as well. Just going to take some off of Brees Hall, and hopefully he learns to fucking slide. I'm tired of watching this dude take fucking big hits. I'm like, if Fields goes down, bro, Brees Hall is pretty much fucking useless. They're just gonna send in 8 dudes, and we're 2 guys on Garrett Wilson, 9 guys or 8 guys in the box, and it's pretty much done. So hopefully Fields can learn how to slide in this game, and I don't have to watch him take any more big hits. So.
Yeah, probably unlikely, but I mean, these guys are kind of stuck in their ways. But yeah, I mean, if he wants to go put his body out there for an extra rushing yard or 2, as long as you don't get hurt, because that's the big concern that comes with it,
Yes, sir. Let's get a quick recap in here, Stu. I know I got to dip here in a little bit, but we'll get to some questions here, and I'll kick it over to you to start us off with our recap.
Sounds good. We got Cam Scattaboo over 16.5 rush attempts, -110. This one is over on MGM. I played up to 17.5, -125, or 18.5 for half unit. Then we got Dylan Gabriel under 31.5 longest completion, -120. DraftKings MGM. Play that one to 30.5.
Awesome. And I'll be on JSN 7 catches. I saw someone say FanDuel's -102 at the moment, so we'll grab that. Breece Hall over 96.5 rushing plus receiving today. Let's get to some questions, Stu. Do you have a long shot before I get over there?
I'm looking right now.
Okay. Paul talking. I did see all this stuff about Montgomery. I did see people talking about that. So
Yeah.
I don't think it's like a sneaky play. I feel like it's been talked about pretty much on my timeline quite a bit. I've been seeing a lot of people betting on him. What's your thoughts? If you had to bet a Monty prop, are you just taking touchdown, or are you taking him for some yards? Because obviously, dude can pretty much. I mean, they should be able to do whatever the fuck they want against that Bengals defense.
Yeah, I mean, it's like the most popular play in the world. I like it. It's just, there's no value left anymore. But I'd play it. Yeah, I get no problems with it. I'm rooting for it, Monty. You got the ultimate players coach as well. That stuff matters for stuff like this. If you are betting on a narrative, having a Dan Campbell or like a Pete Carroll or someone like that actually like is a full-on players coach is big. That will matter. Like, this does matter a little bit, as much as some people might want to say it doesn't at all, which is pretty rare for a narrative. So yeah, I like it. I think it's all good stuff. Monty's a beast, and they should be able to run in this game anyway, obviously. So, yeah, I mean, I got no problems with that. I'm a big Monty fan as well. When the whole world gets on Breece Hall every year, I'm still there on the Monty train. The guy's, a dog. So I bet he has a good game. I bet he, cashes most of those props for people. But the prices are pretty shit now as well. So if you're just getting to it, because he was on Kay Adams, it got like 1 million views. Then a gambling guy retweeted it got like 100K more views. Like, it's just kind of already caught up at this point. But I like it.
Yeah, no, I like I said, I saw that everywhere already. Coop coming in here again with another good question. I know this is a question for you specifically. Obviously, we have guys like Keenan Allen, guys like Ladd McConkey in this game. What's your thoughts here with Washington, kind of struggling against those, quicker receivers?
It's just brutal. Like, I mean, the Chargers have 3 really good options. It just makes it hard to bet on them. We thought they'd have 1 really good option to start the year, and they have 3. So that's a problem. You know what I mean? It's impossible to pick. Like, I sharp for you remembering that too. Shout out, hell yeah, because I agreed, and I think they'll continue to get cooked by who's in motion. But like, Ladd probably makes the most sense, but Quentin Johnson's been in motion a decent amount. Like, they mix it up, and they just have so many guys that can kill you that it's hard to make one stick out. I think in general, Johnston, just because of the downfield usage, longest reception kind of thing, Washington's allowing, I believe, the 3rd most yards per attempt so far this year. So he kind of makes sense. But everyone in the world wants the Ladd bounce back game. I assume it will come, but Keenan Allen's a pain in the fucking ass, man. Just 7 yards at a time. He's just going to keep doing his thing, getting open over the middle. So I kind of think all wide receivers have an advantage, so it makes it pretty hard to kind of narrow it down. But Johnston, longest reception, probably be the one I'm closest to betting. So that's what I got.
Yeah, it's tough when you have all these options, and they spread the ball around. It's like I tell you guys this all the time. I guess for the Packers, dude, I'd never bet Packers receivers ever. It's like completely off my list. I will never do it unless multiple injuries are happening. Knock on wood that does not happen. So, Stu, thoughts on a long shot this week? We have only a 10-game main slate here. Obviously, the London game and Sunday night. But any thoughts here on a long shot, or are we kind of waiting it out a little bit to see some more injuries?
Yeah, I mean, the only one I have right now is kind of a shit price a little bit. Like Darren Waller touchdown, I bet. It's only plus 300. I was hoping to be a little bit better than that. But obviously when you come in and immediately get a bunch of red zone targets like that. I mean, Waller only ran 13 routes or something super small like that. It felt like he played much more, and that's just because he was just in all the important plays, which kind of tells you what their plan for him is going forward and stuff. So I like Waller touchdown at plus 300. I've got that. I've got a bet on Elijah Arroyo, but I'm not going to talk about that here. You got to hit the Substack for that bad boy. But Yeah, I don't know. It'd really be Waller. That's the only thing I've got locked in for a touchdown right now. But I'll probably have some more. I don't know where are the Steelers not playing this week? I think that's what it is.
No, they're out. They're out. The Packers are out. Atlanta's out.
Yeah. Yeah, I want to bet my boy Darnell Washington, but he's not even here. I can't even just auto lock that one in. So, yeah, Waller 300 on FanDuel is probably my favorite one. Ooh, I see a really good question too. David Mendelson with the what do you think about a Harold Fannin receptions ladder? I like it. Harold Fannin was one of my first looks. I realized I'm gonna bet like 5 freaking tight ends this week, which is always weird. But my biggest problem is I just don't trust this team at all. Like you kind of touched on too. I didn't really get to talk about like the batted passes. I bet like over 5 batted passes. Or you know what I mean? Like he's not a big quarterback. Like you said, he's going to be in shotgun a lot, probably just looking for those quick passes over the middle. I think Fannin benefits a lot. They probably had that preseason chemistry as well, that they got to share a lot of reps together. So yeah, I'm a big fan of Fannin today. Although the other scary thing is the market was ready. He opened with a higher number than Njoku. You know what I mean? So the market's ready for it. It's not like we're surprising anyone, but I do like Fannin. I think receptions are good. I'm just very concerned that their offense is going to be so bad where like nobody is going to produce. But I still think Fannin is a good look. He's just a jumbo slot guy. He's just like a Evan Ingram type, like pass catching tight end. He's not really out there to block much, although he has had a couple solid blocks this year as well.
Yeah, I think for me, I'm looking at a couple of these long shots that are kind of catching my eye because I might go to like the lowest scoring teams. Like I kind of like the Bengals and the Broncos this week.
Does this include
spots.
London though, or that's the
no?
Okay.
No,
you'd be fucked if.
No. Every one of those international games are off. Of those, it's just Sunday too. So, but like 10-1 on the Broncos, I could see that being just a fucking shit show and them not being able to put anything in the end zone. And the thing is like the Tennessee Titans are the Colorado Rockies right now, bro. Like they just automatically give you such a shit line on them because they're so bad. But I don't know. I can see fucking garbage yards for Cam Ward trying to put up yards at the end of the game where they're down 21-6. And they get a touchdown, right? Like something like that. Like for that to be warranted at 350, 3.5-1 out of all those teams, like kind of looking there and at the Bengals just because I could see like the Lions mall teams when they're just that much better than them and they don't fucking let up either. So it's like those are the teams like I want like that, they're not going to let them fucking score anything at the end of the game just because they're up 40. They're going to fucking put Anzalone in there, try to punch you in the mouth still. You're down 38-3. They're not going to let you score that, that last touchdown, right?
But the Lions they have some real bad corner injuries right now.
Oh, yeah. No, and I mean, obviously, but I just don't – I mean, I know you talked about Browning and how shitty the matchups were early, but, like, I still think that's a damn good price. I think they should not be – like, the Giants, the Giants are 4.5-1. The Bengals are 7.5-1, and Broncos are 10-1. And then, obviously, the Titans are, like, 3-1 because the Titans suck, but – yeah, that's kind of where I'm looking for a long shot. Maybe I look more at the Broncos at 10-1, just because I think the Eagles are going to have a game plan there.
Yeah, I mean, as someone that just bet the Giants with the philosophy that like I don't know if they're going to be able to score a touchdown all game, that is a little bit scary because if they don't score on that first drive, the scripted drive like last week. How many points do they even score? Like 2 turnovers got them good field position. They kicked some field goals, but like, holy shit, they were not moving the ball at all. But the Saints, who knows what that defense looks like? Like, I don't know. This might just be I see the vision, but this might just be a week to sit out that market because I
think I might just do the Broncos. I'm getting fucking 10-11-1 multiple books on these at that, dude. That Eagles defense against those guys, I feel like that number is that high because you just saw them on Monday night just beat the shit out of them, right? They beat the shit out of them.
Yeah. If the Eagles defense can rebound, it makes sense. Just they haven't lived up to expectations.
I don't even know if the Broncos have the ball for more than 20 minutes. If they can, I think they're going to just fucking QB sneak at 4 straight plays and just hold the ball for 12 minutes. I mean, honestly, I don't think they're going to be able to do too much through the air. I think it's just a fucking boring football game. So I think that would be mine. I would probably lean towards a 11-1 lowest scoring team being the Broncos. Make it like 6-3, bro, and I get to cover my Broncos 3.5 for the show. So 6-3, let's go.
Sounds good. And yeah, now would be the time for any last second questions. If you got them, I see a Dowdle question.
I know you love Rico.
Yeah. I don't know if there are any lines. I do have a decent amount of Dowdle and best ball, actually, so that's solid.
Do you actually?
Yeah, he was free at the end.
At the end, yep.
And also, he's the running back, too. Like, most running back twos shouldn't be free because you're going to get touches even without an injury. And then if you do get an injury, guess what? You can get a lot of touches. So, yeah, Dowdle for a while was just like an easy, like, last or second to last round click on bad running back teams. But, you know, are there props 60.5? Ooh. I would not bet the over on that. I mean, I don't know. They're going to try to – the thing is the Panthers offense is hard to give advice on them because they fucking suck. And they use like 10 different guys. And all those 10 different guys kind of suck. So, like, I don't know what's going on there. Tet is like the only guy I really want to give the ball to. So it makes it hard to bet them. But I might have to consider a Dowdle under just because 60 just feels wrong. I haven't actually looked into it at all yet. But – they still got ETN, the shitty ETN over there as well. I'm sure they'll call someone else up, right? I don't know who it would be at this point. But, yeah, just that seems like a little too much. But he should get a pretty heavy workload, probably 2-3 catches as well, which is good for, like, fantasy and stuff. But, yeah, no strong take from me. I haven't looked at the matchup super heavily yet. I just would lean that number's a little high for me personally.
Awesome. I don't see anything else. We're hour in. We appreciate all you guys sticking with us. 25 you guys still in here. If you could hit that like button, we appreciate it. Again, if you have any questions after the show, drop them in there. We get to everything. We're pretty good at finding our way to get to all these questions throughout the weekend as well. But yeah, exciting stuff. We'll be ready to go on Monday, hopefully talking about a sweep here, and hopefully cash in a couple tickets with you guys. So we appreciate you. Make sure you guys hit that like button. Make sure you're here Monday. Make sure you put the notification bell on so you know when we go live. Going to be an interesting week next week because obviously I'll be here for the Monday show, but I'll be in Mexico, and we'll have to figure out how we're going to do that for Monday, Wednesday on those. So, yeah, it should be kind of all. That's why I said hit that notification bell so you know when we're live. We always find a way to make it happen. Doesn't matter if we got 2 weddings. Doesn't matter what we got. We find a way to make it happen, and hopefully we will get a couple winners, and hopefully the Brewers get it done tomorrow, huh?
Yeah, I mean,
it's an exciting time.
That'll be good. I appreciate everyone tuning in. Like you said, like we'll make it work. I'll be jealous that you're in freaking Mexico. That'll be more sick than DC. But you know, definitely we'll figure it out one way or another. So yeah, that's all. Appreciate you guys. Leave a like, leave a comment, send it to your grandmother, your friend. You know, anyone that wants to make a little bit of money because I think that's what we're gonna do this weekend.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you guys. Have a good one. Best of luck this weekend, and we'll catch you on Monday.